baking soft pretzels today. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We run these workshops every Saturday at 2. So do let us know if you're new. We do like hearing from you. Or if you're returning, just a quick hello. If you're doing cross kitchens, feel free to do shout outs if there's anyone's birthday or any messages you'd like. Feel free to add them in the comments. And then as we bake, you are welcome to ask questions. I will repeat things because I know that you're busy or you've got children next to you or the doorbell goes. You can easily miss an instruction, so we will repeat as I go along. And Mr. Boozy Baker is behind the camera and he'll be taking your comments and checking you're all okay. Right, okay, you're going to ask me, I would imagine, very quickly, oven temperatures. So if you want to preheat your oven, it is 200 degrees Celsius, 180 degrees for fan, or gas mark 6.
They've also asked what size pan do they need?
Right, so I've got quite a large pan on the hob. I said a medium pan. I think mine's quite big, to be honest. Let me measure it for you. I've got about an 8-inch pan. I would imagine a 6-inch would be perfectly good too. As long as you've got it like half filled with water, basically. We're going to make a bath to put each of the pretzels in before baking, which is why you've got so much bicarbonate. It wasn't an error. It is 80 grams of bicarbonate, but we're going to make a nice hot bath for it. So I'll come back to that. We'll do it in stages, and I'll explain as I go.
A good note for the children out there. Grace has said her mum is on hand for the pan part.
Brilliant.
Sue's asked how much instant yeast we need.
So it's 7 to 10 grams. I have put an ish because, in all honesty, I've always just done a couple of tablespoons or dessert spoons, and that's worked. So if you've got one of the sachets, that will be plenty. If you're dealing with fresh yeast, you can use a smaller amount, like 7 grams. If you're doing dried, 7 to 10 is fine. Right, on that note, so you're going to need, I'm just checking, that's actually still a bit too hot. I did some hotter water to put my yeast into, but it's still too hot because it's obviously not cooled down all the time. So I'm going to hand that to Mr. Boozy Baker and see if he can just put some, he's going to have to come round me, if he could put some cold water in for me. So you're going to need 350 ml of warm water. So I've not given you a temperature. It's kind of, you want it to be body temperature. You don't want to feel the cold and you don't want it too hot because if it's too cold, it won't activate the yeast, and if it's too hot, it will kill the yeast. So baby's bath water, kind of, that kind of warm. Just you don't want to feel a chill in it. You don't want to feel too hot in it. If you're in between, you're fine. Yes, that's perfect.
We've got Lynn saying have to leave home at 3. Should make another day, or is there a stage you can leave them and cook later?
You can make the dough and put it in the fridge if you want to do that. You might be able to actually make them all before 3, to be honest. It's not too bad. Otherwise, you could bath them and then put them on a tray and leave them to cook later. Right, so we've got the 350 ml of warm water, and you want to add your 7 to 10 grams, whichever you've got, 7, 10, in between, grams of yeast. As you can see, I don't really measure mine out. I'm just going to do 2 level dessert spoons. And give that a stir into your water. It won't dissolve particularly, but we just want it to mix in and start activating. There we go, I'll just put that to the side. Once it's stirred in, I'm going to leave that because I want it to start activating and bubbling up.
Laura's asked any sugar?
No, not for this one. I ummed and ahed about doing this, but it's brown sugar, and I'm going to mix it in with the flour instead. So I've tried it. My go-to is to put a little bit of sugar in. If you find that your yeast isn't activating, stick a bit of sugar in with it as well, but I found that it did all right. And although it's got yeast in it, we're not actually looking for it to rise. It's a bit of an odd one, this, so we're using plain flour. So for that reason, I didn't mind too much. So it's just the warm water and the yeast in that jug.
Can you repeat how much water?
Yeah, 350 ml of water and 7 to 10 grams, so not too much, of the yeast. And I've just put that in the jug and leaving that to one side. And I can just see a few bubbles coming up on the top.
Mary says, does the salt go in with the yeast?
No, no. Salt will kill the yeast if you put it directly with it. So once you've got your jug set aside, then we're going to start adding the rest of the ingredients to our bowl.
And Barbara said you never mentioned white wine. Hang on a moment.
Yes, make sure, although if you're a child, don't, make sure it's soft drink. But Mr. Boozy Baker is very good at, in fact, I think he thinks he's a bit of like a sommelier or a connoisseur of like whatever I'm baking, trying to match it. So with the pancakes, I had a Bellini, and apparently with pretzels, white wine goes well. So I've got 500 grams, and this is plain flour. If you're using a self-raising flour, then you can, but you don't want the raising agent in it. Have I got raising agent in it? I don't have the raising agent in it. Yeah, sorry, having a moment. So try not to. Try to keep with the plain, but if you're going to, then do so. Why did I think there was raising agent in it?
You've got no bicarbonate soda?
Probably, yeah. Right, can I hand that to you? I've got a hob on the edge of the table, so I haven't got as much room today to play with. So that's 500 grams of plain flour into the bowl. So I'm using brown sugar because it adds to it gives more moisture. Tablespoon of brown sugar to my mix. If you don't have brown sugar, then caster sugar is fine. I'm also wanting to make sure I get the right type of spoon, a teaspoon of table salt. Again, if you've got a different type of salt, like a rock salt, you can use that, but you want a teaspoon. There we go. Are we all keeping up? I'm feeling a little tad bit scatty today. So that's the dry ingredients in there. And then we need 30 grams of butter, which if you haven't got the scales out, it's kind of a tablespoonful of butter. You can use margarine if you would prefer, and that needs to be melted. So I'm going to ask Mr. Boozy Baker to put that in the microwave.
Right, can you repeat what's in both containers?
So what you've got the jug, 350 ml of warm water with about 7 to 10 grams of yeast, which has been stirred and left. In the bowl, you've got 500 grams of plain flour, a tablespoon of brown sugar, or if you prefer, you can use a white sugar, and a teaspoon of salt. So I've just got dry ingredients. I haven't even mixed it yet. So with my spoon, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients in. Then we're going to add our 30 grams of melted butter. The reason we melt it, if anyone's interested, is because it adds to extra chewiness, which is what we want in a pretzel. There we go. You all right there, sweetheart? Lovely, thank you very much. Is that really hot for me to handle now? Yes.
Got asbestos hands like you.
No, I haven't. So, right. So, my butter's not quite as melted as I'd like, but really you should have melted butter. If you add that to your flour, as I said, that should have been really melted. It's just that we cocked up and put the oven on rather than let the microwave be. And then you can put this in at the same time, your jug of water and yeast. Add that, so you've got your butter and you've got your watery yeast mix. Put that all in and then combine it into a dough. So a bit like bread making at the moment, I suppose.
Can we please get a thumbs up that everyone's keeping up?
Yeah. Are you all okay? Have I gone too fast? do feel I've garbled a bit today. We've been really busy actually. We've made a number of birthday cakes today, lots of cupcakes. We've delivered postal stuff that we've needed to get on with. Yeah, lots of thumbs up. Excellent. And Grace, we are making sure that you are okay as well. So hopefully if you need any help, just shout. Now, your dough needs to be, you need to be able to put it into a ball. Mine's actually, because it's great doing live cooking, mine's actually a bit too thin, too sticky. I'm going to need some more flour in this. It's not too bad, but I couldn't knead that. So bear with me whilst I just get, thank you, some more flour. I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top and mix that in, but it does seem like I put maybe a bit too much water into the jug earlier. Right, I'd just leave that there if I were you, just in case I need it again. How are we doing on the comments?
All thumbs up.
Excellent.
Grace is still with us, that's good.
Well done, Grace. So, yeah, so you should have a ball of dough, and then we're going to, once you've got it combined, I'm just going to give mine a few stirs just to make sure that all those bits at the bottom are in. It's still quite sticky, I've got to say.
Julie's just asked, have we missed the bicarbonate of soda?
No, you haven't. Nope. I know it's very like me to miss something, but I haven't. What we're going to do is, in a minute, we're going to bring this out and knead it. And then we're going to shape them into pretzels. But in the meantime, we're going to have the pan, we're going to fill with the water and bring it to the boil, but you want to put your 80 grams of bicarbonate into the pan. And it's a bath, it's a bicarbonate bath we're going to give each pretzel, which is what gives it its nice taste. If you were to do a sweet pretzel, you wouldn't need to do that. If you're doing a sweet pretzel, you would shape the pretzels and then we would probably brush with a bit of butter, and then once they're baked we'd cover with some like cinnamon sugar. But as these are salted pretzels, we want to put them in a bicarbonate bath. So let me just get myself together now.
Sue's asked, did the butter go to the dry ingredients?
Yes. So everything is now combined. We've got the butter, the sugar, the salt. We gave that a mix and then added the melted butter and the jug of the water and yeast mix and create a dough. Mine's looking a bit soft. I have a feeling that we might put a bit too much water in there, Mr. Busy Baker. So I'm just going to give myself a bit of space. Right. I think we can bring the water to the boil quite fast. So what we'll do is we'll knead the ball of dough and then we'll cover it and then we'll move on to the pan with the bicarbonate. So you haven't missed that out, I promise. So I'm just going to put some flour onto my worktop. Are we all okay? Fingers crossed you are.
Is the water we put in the pan out of a boiled kettle?
You can, or just boil it from the tap. It just needs to be boiling. But I mean,
that'd be quicker.
It'll be quicker to put it in the kettle.
And can you repeat what you said about sweet pretzels?
Yes. So if you've got to this stage and you don't want to make salted pretzels, you want sweet, you would ignore the stage with a bicarbonate bath because that's going to give it its very savoury flavour that you won't want. Instead, you will do this bit and then you would bake with them brushed in some butter instead. And then once they're baked, you can dip them into a sugar and cinnamon like mix. That's what I would do with a sweet pretzel. This is really sticky today.
How much water goes in the pan?
So you want your pan to be about halfway full. I think I put about 1.5 pints would do it, but about halfway, if that's not the same, if you've not got the same size pan, you want to be able to put a pretzel in at a time. So all I'm doing here is kneading it A, because I need to make this a little bit less sticky. So I'm just using up this flour. And B, we just want to give it a bit of a knead to bring it into one ball of dough before we shape it. But you can see it's really sticking to my worktop today. There's a mismeasurement there somewhere. But no matter. A little bit of extra flour and we'll be there. And if you find that actually you've got a ball which looks like a lead ball in front of you, and you need a bit more moisture, put a little bit more water with it. But this just wants to stick to my surface. Right, bear with me. You're probably all sitting there with hopefully with your glass of wine, waiting for me with a nice silky ball of dough in front of you.
Mary said it could be sticky because Mr. Boozy Baker added extra water to cool it. I actually removed some water first.
I don't know if he actually measured it out properly, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Right.
I'm a very easy scapegoat.
You are. Right. I think it's perfect thing to be doing on a day like today as well with pretzels. They're kind of a bit comfort food. That's about right. So once you've got your ball of dough, cover it just to stop it from drying out. In fact, you know what? Cover it with a tea towel. Sorry, if you need to go and wash your hands quickly and free them of lots of bread, then please do. Oh, thank you. Just like that, I get a flannel thrown at me. So just clean up a little bit, just so I can handle things a bit easier. I get to throw it back at Mr. Boozy Baker. Okay, cool. There we go. And can I give you the bowl as well, please? Thank you. So I'm going to cover the dough just to stop it from drying out. Now, your water, I'll bring this forwards a little bit, but I've just got to be a bit mindful. Can they see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to bring this backwards and forwards a bit so you can see everything I'm doing. I've measured out already 80 grams of bicarbonate, and I'm going to add that to my water. Nice fizzing up. Can I have a wooden spoon actually, please, if that's all right, just to give that a stir. So I'm making him work today. There we go. So I'm going to stir up the bicarbonate just so it's mixed with the water. My pan's already had the hot water in it because this hob's notorious for not heating up very fast. So we've had this just simmering for a while.
Is it boiling water?
So you'll need to bring it to the boil. You can add boiling water from the start or bring it to the boil in the pan, but it will need to be boiling with the bicarbonate in it. So I'm just going to turn mine up a little bit. So mine's obviously lost a bit of temperature, so I'm bringing it up, and whilst that's coming up to temperature, I'm going to just set that aside, and ooh, no breakages, it's fine. I'll pick that up later, it's all right, it's a jar on the floor. What we're going to do is shape the pretzels ready to go in the bath. So you can make, I tend to make about 8 pretzels, and mine are a bit larger. If you wanted to, you could make more like 12. Depends how big you want them, really. But I'm going to cut this in half. Yeah, have we got questions?
Asked, what should we do if we're doing sweet ones?
So if you're doing sweet ones, don't do the bicarbonate bath. You're just going to shape the pretzels and put them on your baking tray. Right, I'm going to cut these again. I tried to cut these a bit like a pizza the other day, and then it all merged back together. So I've learnt to kind of separate the dough balls as I go. And then I'm going to cut them again. So I've got 8.
Sue's only doing half the ingredients. Does she only put 3/4 of a pint of water in the saucepan?
No, it doesn't work out like that because you still need the same amount of water to bathe a pretzel. So no, stick with the same amount of water and bicarbonate. Right, There we go. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits of dough there. I'm going to have to bring these to the side slightly so I can show you how to shape them. Bear with me. Hopefully they won't stick too bad. There we go. Yes, but anyone that's ordered a recipe book, hopefully you'll be receiving them over this weekend or early next week. I know it's taken a bit of time. I don't know if that's because I'm a new author and I'm not James Patterson with his millions, that they just wait for a few to be printed first. I don't know. But we're still waiting on our copies as well. So hopefully you'll get them soon and I hope you like them.
What is nice is when you go onto Amazon, you put in Boozy Bakers. We're above Jamie Oliver.
Yes, we are. I like having my book on in front of Jamie Oliver's. That's fun. So if you do want to buy a copy of the books, the recipe book, it's available on Amazon as an ebook and as a paperback. Right. So each of your bits of dough, we're going to roll out or shape at least. I'm going to use the word roll loosely because I struggle like that. But we want it to be about 20 centimeters. So let me get a ruler out and show you. So it's kind of either side of me and a bit more, kind of elbow to elbow is where you want to go. So if you're a smaller person doing this, 20 inches, what did I say? Centimeters, sorry, 20 inches. So if you're a smaller person doing this, just imagine like I'm bigger and I'm kind of going elbow to elbow, slightly stretched out. That's what you want it to look like. Once you've done the first one, you'll find you kind of get a feel for how big it needs to be. Right, so you can roll it, which I tried doing. I've tried this numerous ways. I find that takes forever. Or we can let gravity do the work and very loosely, I kind of create a wave in it. If you've ever done, you know, those fitness classes where you get the ropes and you have to do that, loosely based on that, but not, you've got to be very gentle with it, otherwise it won't work. It'll snap. So I'll show you what I'm doing. And then hopefully you'll be able to do the same thing. Right. So I've got it to about the 20 inches, sorry. Then, and I'll keep doing this, I'm going to make it into a circle. Can they see this all right? So I've got a circle and I'm going to cross them over at the top. And then I'm going to twist it once. And then I'm going to bring them towards me. Okay? And that's your pretzel shape. Mr. Boozy Baker, you're going to have to stay like that so I can do a few more. So I'll do it again. And he'll read out any comments or questions you might have at the same time because he's a multitasker, is Mr. Boozy Bakers. So you can try rolling it. I do find it takes a long, long time. Or do that kind of wavy motion. Very loosely and gently try and kind of eke out that dough. You know what? I haven't covered the rest of the dough. I have to do that quickly. There we go. So I'm just going to keep going until I'm happy that I've got the right kind of size. Just working on it all, making any kind of larger areas just become a bit thinner. Just tend to be like almost tickling it just to get it a bit bigger. Then I'll show you that action again. So from a long piece, I'm going to make a circle, but it crosses over in front. You see that? So you've got the cross. So nice circle, crossing over, and then we'll cross it again. And then I'm going to bring it towards me so that the ends touch the bottom. Like so. How's everyone doing? Has it gone very quiet? If there's a particular part that you're struggling with, please let me know and I will help.
Well, we're getting some thumbs up.
Just going to clean my board up a bit from the dough. That's it. I'll do that again. I'm a bit sticky today.
Louise says she's loving this.
I think when you learn to do something that you thought, I don't know how they've done that, it's one of those kind of eureka moments, because I had it too. Like, oh, that's good, I like that. So my son tried to roll his out all the time and he found it so difficult. And I came up with this method. I tried doing a method that looked like I was milking cows. I was like, no, that's not going to work. And so I found this wavy action, just kind of stretches it out.
John's asked, are the ends supposed to stick to the bottom of the pretzel?
So mine, look, I can move them. They don't. That one's stuck a bit. That one hasn't. It's a bit floury. But when you put them in the water, they will. So if they're not yet, don't worry. I'll show you how I put them in the water as well. Mr. Boozy Bakers is going to keep doing close-ups for you so that you can see. Ooh, this is a bit of a sticky one, this one. But we're getting there. Right, so I'll do it again. I'm making a circle and crossing those ends at the top. And then I'm going to cross them again. And then I'm going to bring it towards me. Okay? I'm just going to set that aside. Now, I'm very aware that these might be sticking to my unit. I'm going to do 4, and then we're going to do the bath, so we can get those first 4 into the oven, and then we can do a few more. Now that is by far my stickiest pretzel. Right, Mr. Boozy Baker, I'm going to go over to the bath to show them what to do with that. I'm going to turn the heat up a bit. Right, can they see me now?
Yep.
Right, so with the pretzel, I'm going to pick mine up. I do apologise, these are so sticky. Right, with my pretzel, I'm going to put it onto my spatula.
Can you repeat what the temperature of the oven's on as well?
The temperature of the oven is on at 200 or 180 or for fan and gas mark 6. So once you have a boiling pan of water with the bicarbonate of soda in, you want to lower your pretzel, and you're welcome to show that from a bird's eye view. Oh, there we go. You want to bathe your pretzel in for about 20 to 30 seconds. 1, 2, it's a glass of wine, sip time. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right, I'm going to fish that out. It's important to use something with slats so that you can drain the liquid away as much as possible. And then you want to put it onto the baking tray. That is not the prettiest pretzel I've ever made, but it'll still taste nice. Right. Try and get this more onto the spatula. So, it's the stickiest dough ever. Onto the spatula, into the pan, and 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Too quick. 13, 14, 15, 16. I find that they tend to rise up a bit anyway. If you leave them in for too long, what happens is they start to go metallic in taste. So you don't want to leave them in for way too long. And then I'm going to lift that out, drain off the excess water, and then place it on the tray. And I'm going to get another one. I might actually, on the next lot, put a bit more flour on them because these are just a little bit too sticky. So again, I've got my pretzel and it's going into my bath. I have just turned the temperature up of the water just because obviously putting things in which aren't hot is bringing down the temperature, so I've just put it up a little bit for this last lot. So I'll give that a bath. You can dunk it a little bit. When it's had about 20 to 30 seconds, you can take that out. Oh, make sure you get a good handle on it. There we go. I'll put that on board. And then my last one. This is also the biggest, I think. I'll put that one in. I'll give that a few seconds. Have we got any questions, or is everyone busy?
Laura's just asked, can we rewatch the video after?
Yes, absolutely. And if there's no freezing, I should be able to put it onto YouTube very quickly. It will be available on Facebook as well, so you can always watch it from there.
And do we have to keep the water boiling a bit?
Yeah, if you like this, it looks like it's going to go over. Obviously turn it down, but you do want it to still be at a boiling temperature. This one's a very bubbly one. Actually, this one's ginormous. Right, oh goodness me, I think I've got this one stuck. Yeah, that one's my bubble monster. So once I've drained it of the water, it doesn't matter if a bit of water goes, but you don't want too much water. I think Max will be after that one. Yeah. Huge!
Di's asked, is it meant to go frothy?
Yeah, it does go frothy. You can turn it down before it froths over. Right, so I'm now, back to me for a second. I'm going to put my... I've turned it down, but I'll turn it down a bit more. Stop it going. I'm going to put some rock salt over these. There we go. And they are ready to go in the oven. Put them in now for about 13 to 14 minutes. They'll go nice and golden. They actually, they go a little bit darker than you kind of think they should, but they taste really good. But they will be nice, really golden. They'll change colour quite substantially. Right, I'm going to put a bit more flour on this because this is such a sticky dough to use.
Lynn asked, do we cook for longer if doing sweet and not being in the water?
No, same should apply. It's a flavour that it gives in the water because you're coating them in that bicarbonate, and really can't coat them in the bicarbonate without the water. Otherwise it would be way too overpowering. So hopefully we're doing well. I'm interested to know how Grace is doing because I know she's baking alone, and I'm very impressed with children that bake alone and give it a go. So if we've got any more, please do shout outs to your little bakers or the not so little bakers. Right, so this is a bit easier to deal with now. I've put a bit more flour down, so hopefully we won't get so many crazy ones.
Dawn says second lot shaped a lot easier.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just practice or mine just needed that extra bit of flour just to stop them sticking. I've still done monsters, but I suppose I increased it a little bit with my flour content. I am beeping. I'll give it a minute. Right, we'll get another one in. Right, can I multitask? Right, guys, I'm going to go and get them out. Bear with me. Oh, actually, Mr. Boozy Bakers, if you pass me the camera, I will multitask that way, and you can get them out. There we go, safely in my hands here as I extend my arm out and do pretzel making. Can't read your comments as well, I'm afraid. You'll have to wait for him to come back. But we're going to need a rack as well, I think, Mr. Boozy Bakers, to put those on in front of me. Right, I've just got my second pretzel out of the pan. I'm putting another one in. Get that one in. Excellent. I've got a rack going in front of me. It's all going on. I'm just going to move this poor pretzel out of the way. Right, bear with me. Oh, and I'll hand the camera back to Mr. Boozy Bakers. They're a little bit out of shape from my normal style, but they will be lovely. So I don't know if you can see, we've got some pretzels in front. This one actually looks like it might need a bit longer, I've got to say. It's slightly yellow. Here, this is the colour you're looking for. This, sorry, I've got very doughy hands still, but you want that kind of brown colour. So I actually think they need to go in for a couple more minutes, to be honest, just for a couple of them, the bigger ones. I'm just going to get my next pretzel out, if it will let me. It's one of those crazy ones again.
Leslie says they're tasting yummy.
Excellent. Oh, Leslie, you're on it if you're tasting them already.
Jan's asked, what about bagels? Are they made in a similar way?
Yeah, you know what? I think they must be. I haven't made bagels, but I did think it's got to be a similar. So if you... It's all gone crazy in the kitchen. If you were to shape them as a bagel, maybe not with the bicarbonate bath, maybe that's what kind of gives them that pretzely taste. Yeah, you'd probably get a bagel out of this.
Mark's asked, do you let them cool before adding sugar?
You need it cool enough to handle, but as soon as you can handle them, dip them in the sugar and then just leave them to cool until you want to eat them.
Both Louise and Sue have commented that it's easier than they thought.
Yeah, I know, it's good fun.
And Kirsty says they look great and taste great.
Good. Excellent. I've lost my pretzel to a bubble bath. Hang on. There we go, found it. There. They're done.
Hannah's are stuck to the parchment paper.
Oh, well, hopefully you'll be able to peel that off. There we go. I'll turn that right off, yeah. I'm going to put some salt on those. And they are ready for the oven. There, they're out the oven again. And you can see they're a lot more golden in colour. And that's what you want, is a nice golden colour to your pretzels. There you go. So that's what it looks like inside. There. Right, that is it for me. I am going to go and enjoy a pretzel and get on with the next workshop for next week and put that online. So do look out for that. And I do need to ask you a favour actually. Can you please subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell people about us, and if you like what we do, try and get people to subscribe to our video would be amazing. Thanks very much for joining us. Okay, bye.